Yo, what is up, Laker family? Welcome back to the show. We are back after an off-season hiatus. And since then, the team has gone through a lot. We've been gutted inside and out, outside of LeBron, AD, and THT. After we lost to Phoenix, we got a whole new team. We've traded arguably our biggest strength the last couple of years in perimeter defense and replaced it with star power at guard, hopefully better shooting. We've essentially traded our weaknesses for strengths and vice versa. And we're going to see how it plays out. Tonight was game one of that experiment. We didn't get good results tonight. We lost 121-114 to the Warriors at Staples Center. But I have good news for everyone. Russell Westbrook played like shit, but this is only game one of 82. The season didn't end tonight. So that's the good news. I know a lot of people are going to act like it did, and it's going to be a very fun month for the people who hate the Lakers. Maybe longer than a month. The team's going to need time to figure itself out. And the real ones know we got to be patient with this team, especially with someone like Westbrook, who has, not been the best fit on teams in the past, but this is a new situation and less is being asked of him than before. So we're going to see how it all plays out. And no Reza tonight, no THT, none in Ellington. We missed a lot of our guard and wing depth. Those guys are certainly going to help Westbrook when he's back, when they're back in action. But I wanted to talk about the game with Martin, one of our best friends of the show. Martin, how you doing tonight, man? It's been a while.
Doing okay, man. I guess is okay after an opening night L. Just before we started this, we looked up the last time we won, man, and what was it, 2016? That they won an opener, so that sucks. But I'm doing well. It's been a long time since we talked, dude. So I'm glad. I'm always down to chop it up with you, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we actually looked this up. So the last time the Lakers won on opening night was 2016. So going to this game, I didn't really expect to win just because of a new offense, Westbrook being,
right,
integrated and everything. But yeah, we actually looked it up. 2016, and before that, 3 years before.
We did.
Yep. So we're just cursed. We're just not good on opening night.
Yeah, opening night's not our thing, obviously, man.
Yeah. So I want to ask, man, how did you think this game was going to play out heading into it, and how do you know how it actually played out compared to that? If you know what I'm saying, how did it compare to your expectations?
I think it played out pretty close to my expectations. I didn't watch every preseason game, but I did watch a good amount of the 6 games. We had situations where LeBron didn't play, Davis only played in moments. Guys were hurt. Malik Monk hurt his groin in the last one.
He played tonight, though. I thought he wasn't going to play.
He did play tonight, which is, thankfully he's okay. The groin, I thought the groin injury was like serious, but obviously, he played tonight, which is good. But it did play out like how I thought. It was just, we had some great moments where you were like jumping out of your seat, like, oh, that fast break when it was someone threw it back to LeBron, he passed it to Davis, and he dunked it. And that's when we went up by I think 8 at that time, right? And then you just had moments where, Rondo and Westbrook sharing the court.
A lot of minutes together, Rondo and Westbrook sharing.
And I'm like,
why did Frank do that? Why do you think he did that?
I don't, I get it. He's trying to tinker and mess around. Me and you talked about it. Like sometimes he waited to do the Caruso minutes, right? And he just waited. But it's so obvious, I think, I'm not a genius. You're not a genius, right? Bro, the Westbrook Rondo minutes, it's not going to work. It's not going to work tomorrow. It's not going to work next week. It's not going to work. They cannot share the court together. So back to your original question, how did I expect it to look tonight? A little bit like this. It does suck, though, that if you have a box score in front of you, I think
I do. I was actually about to pull that shit up right quick.
So Davis had 34. Okay, here we go. So yeah, it's 33. Okay, so Davis had 33 and LeBron had 34. And look at those shooting numbers from the field. I mean that's amazing. And they did for most of this game, for almost all of this game, they looked unstoppable. Of course, they can't make the free throws. LeBron still can't make free throws. AD 2 of
7 on the free throws. That was horrible. Out of nowhere.
That's and it looks like no one else wanted to get to the line. Yeah, except for Dwight, who goes 3 for 4. That's amazing. So yeah, for
Yeah.
most of the game, those two guys looked unstoppable. LeBron in his 19th year, I still can't believe that this guy is that good. He did what he wanted, and AD, like in the post, his mid-range jumper, um, getting to the foul line. Honestly, he had 7 attempts. I thought he should have had 11 or maybe 12. So that's a good sign. But we lost, so that's why I'm like concerned. But to your point, we got some guys injured, and they have to get back, and it's game 1. The season does not end today, so that's kind of what I think. What'd you think about it?
I'm glad you mentioned LeBron and AD because those are the clear biggest bright spots of this game. LeBron was fucking on one in the first half. He was hitting crazy fadeaways. Anthony Davis's mid-range shot was looking nice.
Right.
He was moving well. He was being aggressive. I thought our rebounding was kind of bad, and I'd like to shout out DeAndre Jordan for his extra bad rebounding. Something about him, man. He's got Andre Drummond hands when it comes to
He
holding
just
a
can't grab
rebound.
it, man.
Yeah,
I'm actually glad you brought up rebounding. We were not great on the boards tonight, and DeAndre he can't squeeze the ball. It's crazy.
you'd think he could. I mean, he's been a effective rebounder like his whole career and shit. But I mean, look at this. We don't lose the rebounding battle by that much, but
Yeah,
it felt
to
like we
lose
lost more of it.
yeah, to lose the rebounding matchup by 5 to the Warriors is pretty. That's a little concerning because
That's
they
the
didn't have
thing.
Wiseman.
It's to the little ass Warriors who didn't have Wiseman.
Yeah, they didn't have Wiseman, and Wiggins is out of shape and vaccinated, so he's he's freshly vaccinated. So to lose the rebounding to Juan Toscano Anderson and Steph Curry and Jordan Poole,
Steph
that's
Curry,
a
who has
little
a triple double. My
triple
God.
double.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, agreed.
Yeah. So I was glad that AD looked really good. Bron looked amazing. He was scorching hot in the first half. That first half went better than I thought, man. What'd you think? It was like 59-53. I thought, you texted me before the game started. You're like, oh fuck, we're starting DeAndre tonight. And I was like,
I
okay, I guess
know,
we're gonna end up being down by 10 at the end of the first quarter. No, we held it down. We were up by 2, you see. And then we ended up being up by like, I don't know, 6 or 7 to go in the half. Overall, I was feeling
right?
pretty good about the game. The obvious things were the defense didn't look in sync. We don't have the defense isn't our strong suit anymore. We're going to have to win games in different ways. The defense didn't look in sync. What Russell Westbrook, I thought whenever he came in, and the plus minus backs this up, he would just, it would just be a disadvantage for us because they wouldn't have to guard him at all. There was a screenshot I saw where, I think it was Damian Lee. He was just in the paint, probably like a good 20 feet off of Westbrook, not guarding the 3
Wow.
ball. And if you saw the game, you saw how off Westbrook's jump shot was tonight. Man, what happened to the days? Remember when the Thunder cooked us in the playoffs in like 2012, and Russell Westbrook with these transition, little pull-up jumpers on the nail. He would just like stop on a dime, and every one of those fuckers would go in. I'd like to see that come back, but I don't know. I don't know what's happened to that Westbrook, man.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely a different player. And I know exactly what you're talking about, man. He used to do this thing like, out of UCLA when he first got drafted, and it was literally like he was going so fast and he just stopped, and he gets all momentum into this 16-footer, maybe 14 to 17 feet, and every time it just went in. And it just yeah, I remember that. I know exactly the shot. I could see it right now. Kind of like you remember like the Sean Livingston like mid-range jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sean Livingston never missed that shot. It felt, when Sean Livingston was on the Warriors, like I might have seen with my own eyes him miss like 6 of those in 3 years. So I know what you're talking about, but yeah, Westbrook was he was a mess tonight. It is what it is. Like, we don't need to sugarcoat it. He was a mess defensively. He was committing some silly fouls. He also committed a technical foul because he didn't like a call. He had I think he had 2 or 3 turnovers that were pretty bad. His jump shot was just really off. In the start of the third quarter, I think people in the locker room told him like, "Hey man, like, you're feeling it out, but be aggressive." And he immediately like drove to the rim. He finished 2 layups. He missed 1, but overall, it was a bad Westbrook game. He
Yeah.
he looked a little he looked out of it, and honestly, he looked just like what it was in the preseason. In the preseason, that's what Westbrook looked like. So it's only 1 game, but we don't have to sugarcoat it. He was a mess tonight. He was a mess.
Yeah. Bad team defense and just the mess that was Russell Westbrook were probably the 2 defining traits of this game. But that's something that's just going to take time. Wanted to ask you if you can visualize it. If Westbrook's Laker tenure is going to go well, how do you see us utilizing him?
I think for the Westbrook tenure to go well, we have to be a big team. You have to utilize him with, first of all, Anthony Davis playing center. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, I think we have to be a big team, but let me backtrack a little bit. You can't play 2 bigs. I don't think the Westbrook with 2 6'11" guys, 7 feet guy, that doesn't work with his style of play. So we had to be a running team in transition to be successful. And kind of, Westbrook with Houston, he had this like moment where it clicked for him with the Rockets, where he kind of just like totally abandoned shooting deep perimeter shots. And it's when the Rockets really started to like take off with Harden, him and Hart. Like he was just like a wrecking ball in transition. And he kind of was like, look, I'm going to dish it out to shooters and they're going to do their thing. So that's a successful tenure for me. I think you have to match up. You can't do 2 big lineups. When I say 2 big, I mean literally 2 bigs, like Anthony Davis and DeAndre Jordan, which didn't work tonight.
Sorry to cut you off. There was a lineup of AD, Bazemore, Russ, Dwight, and Rondo. This is like the fuck Russell Westbrook lineup. Like you got Rondo in there, and then you got AD and Dwight, and then Baze.
Right.
I mean, of course,
Dwight, that's not going to work. That's not going to work for Westbrook. And so the successful tenure, just to answer like the question, yeah, we have to go. You can't do him with a guard, a dominant ball handling guard too with Rondo. That's why those minutes sucked today. You have to give him maybe a 3-and-D guy who could be Kent Bazemore. So yeah, we have to be big. We have to be better defensively too. And we have to just let Russ be a transition guy. Because Russ shooting the basketball, especially his playoff shooting splits in the last 4 years, are really bad, like really bad. So you can't do that when it comes playoff time. You have to let him run and gun, let LeBron be LeBron, let Anthony Davis be Davis. So that's what I would think a successful, tenure is with what it's going to look like with Westbrook,
I think so too. I mean, and this might be a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, but we have so much guard depth and wing depth when we have all our guys, man. And I really like the way Avery Bradley played tonight. We just picked up Avery Bradley, got cut. He can play defense. He hit some threes. We know Frank likes to play guys who we know that can defend. I feel like Avery Bradley should play, like, especially in this period, but even when everyone else gets healthy. I just don't know how those minutes are going to work out. And I feel like this game really just what kind of felt deflating about this game was because for me, it just raised a lot of questions. How are we going to be dominant with Westbrook in transition? Right. Obviously, we had moments there. We had moments tonight and in preseason where we looked really good in transition, and that's when we'll really break games open and beat teams down. But you can't do that for the whole game, and you can't do that as much in the playoffs. So I'm just wondering what's going to be our most dominant form. The last 2 years, the formula has been LeBron and AD with guys who can shoot and defend. And they didn't always hit their shots, but we could almost always count on the defense. And then you could almost always count on LeBron and AD to, make points on their own. But the equation is way different this year because we can't trust guys to defend this year. And it was very apparent.
No, definitely not. Right.
Mm-hmm. But I did like the contributions of Bradley. My question is just, I like to see him stay on the team, but I think his contract would also take a cap hit because of tax penalties. And we know Jeannie doesn't like to pay those, which is why she didn't pay Caruso, which is why she didn't pick up James Ennis, because I think his contract would have caused a sort of cap hit because of tax penalties. I wonder if we'll even keep him for the rest of the year. And I wonder if he'll get minutes. I think he should get minutes.
That's actually a good point. I didn't realize that because he got waived by the Warriors, but then signed by the Lakers. If we keep him and sign him, he would account for our cap hit. No, isn't that correct?
I forget the exact rule, and my friend Alex, who comes on the show, would know because he knows the CBA really well.
Okay, yeah, I'm not.
It's probably along those lines.
I'm not great with the CBA and numbers, but because he got waived, and I think, if you sign Bradley to a guaranteed contract, he's almost 100% going to count against your cap hit, and he would count for us to be in the luxury. And just like a good point to what you said, we know Jeannie Buss isn't really about that right now. So I don't know if Avery's going to be on this team in 45 days, to be honest.
I don't know either, although I do like his
because of what you just said. So I'm not like, is Bradley going to be on this team by Christmas? I don't know, man. I honestly don't know.
What I did hear in the TNT broadcast was that Draymond and Steph didn't like that they cut Bradley. So that makes me still think he has something left in the tank. And he played good tonight. Few good defensive possessions on Steph. He's one of our better perimeter guards that's worked under Vogel's system. So he has some experience there. I've said it, but I would like to see him play some more, man. He will get some minutes right now, but when a guy like Ellington or when Nunn comes back and when THT, those are three guards. I don't know where the minutes are going to go. I don't even know how Nunn's going to fit into this equation, man. I mean, I didn't see him a lot during preseason just because I wasn't able to catch a lot of preseason games. But yeah, I wonder where guys like Nunn and THT are going to fit into this, because those are two guys that also need the ball. It's like we have good collections of players, but I don't see the clear fit right now.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that with the fit. When Nunn gets back, where do minutes go, and like how is Vogel distribute, lineups, and things like that? Like, should you play Nunn and Westbrook together with Monk? I actually think that could work, but then how long is THT out? And is THT's shooting like development, is it real? Because he could post on Instagram and like these empty gyms with whatever, just like cooking people, but if THT can actually shoot and be a reliable, I don't know, let's just say 34% clip from three, and if it, then you could do lineups with, maybe you could really do like heavy minute lineups with LeBron and THT. So I don't know, it's a good question, man. It is a good point. How does this guard shuffle work out? We have to be better defensively too. And, the jokes are jokes, but we are old, bro. This is an old ass team. So like sometimes like I was like reading stuff like, well, wait till we get Ariza back. I'm like, what? Ariza's fucking 36, man. He was really good his last, like the year before last, or maybe even 2 years ago, but like, Ariza's old, all right? Like, can he stay in front of these? Was he going to play the three? Maybe the four. Maybe you do a small ball at four. Can Ariza stay in front of guys at this age?
I wonder, can he stay on the floor at this age? Because I mean, he gets
can
fucking
he stay
hurt
on the floor?
That's my biggest question with him.
Hey, we are old, okay? This is an old team. So
I would counter that though with, we're old, but we are Westbrook and LeBron and Dwight are like three of the most well-conditioned dudes, especially for their age.
They are.
I
They
trust
are
their conditioning, so I don't think
always
boldness
in
is an
top.
issue with them.
They're in top shape. LeBron is a psychopath. Westbrook is a psycho with his, conditioning and being in shape. That is for sure. But yeah, I'm a little worried about. Oh well, wait till we get Ariza and Wayne Ellington back. Like, what are they gonna do, man? Can they stay in front of people? Can Wayne Ellington stay in front of anybody? Can Ariza stay on the court? I don't know. Like,
Malik
they're
Monk and
old,
Westbrook
man.
had trouble staying in front of people tonight, man.
And right, and let me. Hey, Monk is a spry chicken. He's 24, but his game is not defense. He got blown by like 4 times on drives.
Mhm.
I didn't like the offensive game plan from Monk. I wish we would have let him be a little bit more creative as a distributor and not just like a post up like Kyle Korver, like 3 point. Like he's so much more than that. I thought the lineups didn't let him do that, but it's game one, and I think they have to just figure it out from here.
Yeah. I didn't know Monk had that in his game. Can he distribute it all? Because I imagine him as more of a catch and shoot kind of guy.
He so the thing is, I think with Monk, like he can, but like let's not get it to like he doesn't like giving up the ball, right?
Mhm.
I think like we'll see as the season goes on. I think Monk actually is a decent playmaker, not great, but when you play with guys like Anthony Davis and LeBron James, I feel like Monk should get some playmaking. He's going to have some playmaking chances this year. I think I'm optimistic. I was like so happy with that signing. I know I probably texted you
It's a
when
steal,
we
man,
signed Monk.
especially none too.
Uh, I was super excited about the Malik Monk signing. So I've got high hopes for him. Like he can't be a guy we need to score like 16 a game from, but he's a volume shooter. That's a crazy athlete. Probably, him, LeBron, and LeBron and Westbrook are like the best athletes on the team. I think Monk can like fly, man.
Mhm.
So we'll get to see that too. See him in transition. Like when he was with the Hornets, sometimes him, Miles Bridges, and LaMelo Ball like on the break, it was like crazy. Those guys were flying out the gym. So I'm excited to see Monk in transition. But Malik, you're not going to play if you don't play defense. Like how Vogel is. If you mess up like a couple rotations here and there, Vogel's like, all right, you're out. So
Mhm.
Monk has to be better. He was not good defensively today. He was pretty bad.
I thought he really flew under the radar a lot for his first couple shifts. I was trying to keep track of what lineups we had in to see when it would go on runs and stuff. And I would be
Yeah,
like, who is that guy? Oh, Monk's in. And then he'd be in for a couple shifts and then he wouldn't really touch the ball or anything. It wasn't until maybe his later shifts that he was actually starting to, pull up and take some shots. So I thought he flew
right.
under the radar for a bit. But in terms of roles and in terms of lineups, if THT can get his three and get his defense figured out, that's asking a lot for one season. And also he's coming back hurt, then a lot of shit falls into place for sure. Like if he can go out there and hold his own, become a respectable 3-point shooter where guys have to, respect him and, just be a much better defender, especially for off ball situations. A lot of shit falls into place, I think.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of responsibility, but he's so talented. There's a lot of optimism for THT. So hopefully he worked on those things: off ball defense, the shooting. I mean, he had no left hand his last 2 years, so hope he has a left hand. But yeah, he could open things up if he gets back. In the next 5 weeks or when the timetable is.
Yeah. Last thing I really had in mind about this, Westbrook played like what I think 35 minutes tonight. It's Russell Westbrook. He's always going to play a lot, but I'm trying to imagine, I'm still trying to imagine when's this team going to be at its most dominant. I don't know in playoff situations if we can really trust his 3-point shooting or his defense, late in games. I hope we can. I want to see him on the floor because more talent on the floor is better. But I feel like one of the solutions Charles Barkley had a good solution too. Maybe the Lakers, because we're so, not that good defensively, maybe we play some more zone. I like to see that. But it's something else I thought was, I think we just need to play Westbrook less, dude. Like maybe 25 minutes a night. I just don't think it's going to happen, man. He's a star. He's going to want to demand the ball, but the guys went into the season saying this is going to take sacrifice. Maybe that's the kind of sacrifice it's going to take, because unless we pull a trade and maybe get some wing depth, which I would like with all these guards that we have. I feel like one solution is also maybe just keeping him more fresh, is just lower Westbrook's minutes. Honestly, I just don't know if that's ever going to happen. What do you think about that?
I think that's actually that's like, I haven't read about that, or haven't seen someone, or I haven't read about that, or haven't heard someone say that. So thank you for bringing it up. And I actually, now that you like said it to me, and I like processed it, like it might be, for the time being, the only option we have is reducing his minutes. Because, right, like you said, we don't have a lot of wing depth. We have a lot of guards, but the guards are hurt. THT's, when's he coming back? We don't know. It's a surgery. He might not be in great shape. And for the immediate time being, like you said, maybe reducing his minutes, because Westbrook today too, he wasn't good defensively. He has moments where he could play on ball defense, especially in the post, I feel like. But he gets caught napping a lot, man.
Melo too today, man. Melo, I love Melo, and I want to see him succeed.
Melo, oh my God. How did we get this far and we didn't mention Carmelo? Now, Carmelo made 2 threes. Was it?
And the
two
crowd
threes?
went nuts. Did you hear that?
And
People
the crowd
were like, fuck yeah, we got Melo on our team. He just made a three. Let's go, Lakeshow for life.
Hold on. I cannot believe we didn't discuss Carmelo, because Carmelo had 2 threes, but golly, he got cooked on defense. The defensive ability of Carmelo, it is gone. He is a corpse. I mean, Belinsa, looked like Scottie Pippen or something on Carmelo.
Bielitsa was
Carmelo, and what the bro? Are you like trolling me with this missed free throw that he had? Or not the missed free throw, the pump fake. And then he's like
trolling us.
Laughing.
He was.
Bro, like that, that was just a 1 point that it just got take, we don't even get a chance because you were pump faking.
That's honestly the first time I've ever seen that. I've never seen that before.
I've ever seen it. I've seen air balls. I've seen lane violations. I've seen guys try to throw it off the backboard and get a violation. I've seen everything. This fucking guy didn't shoot the free throw. He literally pump faked at the line. Bro, Carmelo needs, you want to talk about a minutes reduction? I'm good with him playing 4 minutes in the first half and 4 in the second. That's it, man. Take your 2 shots, try to be alive on defense and get 1 rebound. But now I just forgot what you were saying. You were talking about Russell Westbrook, right?
Westbrook, Carmelo, all of it. There's just so many fucking question marks around this team right now.
For the immediate time, sure. Why don't we bring Westbrook's minutes down? Because maybe we can throw those minutes to Avery Bradley defense for perimeter defense, or
and that's really what I want to fall into. I'm just on the Avery Bradley train now, man. I've dug into my corner. That's what I'd like to see more.
So I see what you're saying. Right now, maybe take Westbrook's minutes down, and in those, get creative, get Bradley some minutes, because one thing about Bradley is he doesn't do a lot of things very well, but he's a good defender. He's a better on-ball defender. He's gonna play tough defense. So
you could even play Bradley next to Westbrook too. I mean, if you want to do a
right, if you want it, that's true.
You want to do Westbrook and Davis at the 5, Bradley, who can, if he keeps hitting his threes, and Bazemore and shit, maybe some other guys. I don't mind that.
I don't hate that. I don't hate Bradley playing the 2 next to Westbrook, and then maybe Bazemore, like you said, at 3. I don't hate Bradley playing the 2 next to Westbrook. It'll help out a lot because that's a much better situation than today. Because today it was Westbrook, Rondo, and that
we
was.
didn't even start talking about Rondo yet, man. He was actually
That
all
was a
right for some possessions, like offensively.
Yeah, he made the three. And
He
then he
played better
had
than
like
Westbrook, man. He was
yeah,
way
he
better than
did.
Westbrook.
But he had 4 possessions where it was like Rondo, and I was like, yeah, that's but he made his shots defensively though, him and Westbrook, and offensively too. It's just not going to work. You can't play those two together. Rondo pounds the ball, he just
Yeah.
dribbles like the air out of it. And then Westbrook why is he he's just standing, like that's not going to work.
And I was thinking about it, just trying to imagine why Vogel would pair Rondo with Westbrook when they both need the ball in their hands and aren't knockdown shooters. I think it was just a matter of Rondo knowing how to run the offense. And even though this is a new offensive
So
system,
he probably let him, right. Okay.
he's probably just, letting Westbrook get some minutes with Rondo on the court, just getting more familiar with the offense. Although you could argue maybe with Westbrook with the ball in his hands, learning making mistakes on his own, that's better. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out why Vogel want to play Rondo and Westbrook at the same time.
No, that makes no sense because of the shooting, the ball handling for them, and the defense. That can't happen. Rondo and Westbrook literally it just can't happen because of their defensively as a backcourt, shooting as a backcourt, spacing as a backcourt, everything. I don't know. They cannot they cannot be on the court at the same time, ever. Knowing Vogel,
I don't think
he'll
we'll
do
see
it.
that much, to be honest. I think it was Vogel fucking around.
Okay, because I'm glad I'm hearing optimism from you. If I see it on Friday, I'm gonna freak out. We cannot
You
have
might still see it on Friday, so just brace yourself.
Rondo Westbrook minutes cannot happen. It just cannot happen.
Fuck, man. Yeah. Overall, I think it was disappointing because we lost, but just because I'm having a tough time seeing how this team could be consistently dominant as currently constructed. Westbrook it's going to take sacrifice, like they've always said. It's going to take big time adjustments. Unless Westbrook can somehow get magically better at threes and at defense, then, I feel like some major changes are going to have to happen. And I think one of those might be just playing him less, or, I don't want to say not starting with him. In a perfect world, what if he just came off the bench, man? I mean, what if he just led the bench unit? It would never happen. I know. It would never fucking happen, but I think that'd be a better fit.
I think it's so, like, meeting you like halfway. I think you're right. You have to lower his minutes, and I just forgot what I was going to say. So to me, what the guy is, right? And at 31 years old, like, we know what Westbrook has done in the playoff shooting wise. That's not going to, it's just not this year. He's not going to shoot 39% from three, right? It's not going to happen, or in the playoffs. So maybe reducing the minutes, like you said, and Westbrook, like, just talking the talk and walking the walk. He asked for a trade to the Lakers, and he said, at this point in my career, I'm willing to sacrifice. Well, then you're just going to have to do it. You're going to have to sacrifice and change your game to fit around this. Like, you're such a talented player. You've accomplished everything, except the championship, of course. So to me, at this point, it's just like walking the walk. And the same for everybody. Anthony Davis, are you going to play center when we need you to play center?
And are you going to be our best player night in, night out? Because I don't want that to fall on LeBron.
And that too. Like tonight, there were so many moments I was like, Anthony Davis is the best player on this team and in the world. I was like, this guy's unstoppable, right? So can you get 75 games this year where Anthony Davis is a top 5 player in the world and plays center? So yeah, it comes with sacrifice. Westbrook asked for the trade. They gave him the trade. And they met up and they were talking about, how it's going to work. And they all said, well, we're going to have to sacrifice a little. So now it's just about doing it. Are you going to actually sacrifice what? Are you going to make the changes, for this to work out?
Exactly. Yeah. Well said, man. Yeah, I think it really comes down to that. They just got to follow through on their talk about sacrifice and
follow through. Right. Straight up. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that might wrap it up for now, though, man. You got anything else you want to say? Any parting thoughts?
Man, I'm just glad to be doing this again. That's my parting thought.
Oh yeah,
It was
dude.
literally the last time we talked, man. It sucked because we got steamrolled by the Suns. That was the last time we did this. And then they eventually choked in the finals, so that was fun to watch the Phoenix choke. But yeah,
That was
I'm glad
it
to
felt validating. It's like you've beaten half strength teams this whole fucking time. You
right.
think you're so
And
good.
up 2-0 and losing two. Oh man, that was blowing a 2-0 lead with home court advantage too. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. No, but yeah, seriously, I'm glad that it's been a long time. We had that, and then we had the draft, and we had preseason. But this first time, like me and you are doing one of these again. So I'm glad you hit me up, man.
Yeah.
Glad to do this again.
Yeah, I'm glad that we finally have a game to watch and actually have a game where everyone played the whole game. It wasn't just preseason, just half playing it and whatnot.
And it's real, right? Like
it's real, yeah.
Right. It's not preseason. It's real, and these games count. So it's the first time we're doing it again. We're like this. We're actually all the way back here. It's crazy.
Yeah, I just thought my parting thought is, I hope Westbrook can still play 35, however many minutes a night and still be effective. I think that's definitely our best case scenario where he can, make the necessary sacrifices and just be a more positive impact player. I really hope we don't have to cut his minutes because he's just not being as effective. But yeah, I guess that's my parting thought. I hope that he can still keep getting these minutes and, sacrifice and turn things around, because if we find a way to be dominant with him, this is going to be a fun fucking team, man. We're going to have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
I mean, just the energy that he brings, the energy that even Melo brings. I mean, when he's hitting shots, but they are old dogs, man. It's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. So
yeah,
let's hope we get this first win soon, man. I miss having those Laker wins, but
yeah.
It was good potting with you, man, and we'll be doing it again soon.
Oh man, I'm always down to talk some Lakers basketball with you, man. So thanks for hitting me up. I'm always up for it.
Hell yeah, man. Take it easy.
Okay, you too.